Hello and welcome to Level Up Your Talents Abroad, a series of inspiring interviews of expats where we uncover through their stories what talents they have developed. We are exploring the behind the scene because too often we only see the end result of an expatriation, but we miss out on the process, what it really takes to get where they are today. So they will share with us the up and the downs, the bold decisions, their challenges, and what they learned on the way. It's been like 20 years that I'm living abroad, and I've never met an expat who told me it was easy. If you keep the big picture of that experience, the move itself is such a tiny part, right? What's important is what comes after. And that very often we are not well prepared for that. And we go through a big emotional roller coaster. So if you want to get better equipped for this journey abroad, visit the website Expat Coaching Corner. I design an online program with on-demand videos, super flexible, just for you to equip you better for this ride. So the link is in the description. I'm your host, 𝗂'𝘃𝗲𝗿. Now let's dive in. Hello, so this is a new episode. We are going to Dubai today. So welcome to Level Up Your Talents Abroad, a series of inspiring interviews of expats where we uncover the behind the scene, what it really takes to get where they are today. Through their story, they're sharing the process of an expatriation because a LinkedIn profile is only the end result. And we miss out on the process and what it really takes to get where they are today. I'm your host, 𝗂'𝘃𝗲𝗿. So today we have the pleasure of welcoming Margot to this series. Hi, Margot.
Hi, Anne, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming today and sharing your story with us and exploring the behind the scene and how you level up your talents abroad. So to start and to give us some context, could you please tell us more about your expat journey?
Yeah. So I can say I've been an expat it's my seventh year actually. So I live in Dubai. So I came to Dubai at the end of 2018. And basically before that, I mean, I was expat when I was younger as well. So I lived in many places. I was used to move every few years, like to move to some French island. I live in Japan as well. So for me, it was a bit of a no-brainer to go abroad later. So I actually studied in 𝗂'𝘃𝗲𝗏, and I met my husband there. It's important in the story because we came here together. And so after I graduated from 𝗂'𝘃𝗏, I started working for a consulting company, a French consulting company. And I worked for them for about 2 years. And actually, I got the opportunity through this company to join the Dubai office that was being created. So basically, we were expanding in many countries. When they sent this information, we had a choice between the UK, Spain, and Dubai. And I don't speak Spanish. My husband doesn't speak Spanish either. For me, London was a bit too similar to Paris. So we were like, okay, why not Dubai? We never been to Dubai before. And so that's how we ended up here.
Okay, so the thought process behind this move was really, okay, we have three choices and Dubai
Yeah,
was the good mix of I speak the language and it's different.
yeah, exactly. So to be honest, I think I wasn't, I mean, I could have gone anywhere just because maybe I had this mindset from my family, like it's quite easy to move, we can adapt anywhere. And anyway, we had no kids. We can go, and if it fails, then we come back. Like we will find a job in France if we come back. So we really wanted to do this experience together, to have this experience together. So yeah, we thought like Dubai looked quite easy. So yeah, I went there actually as a bit of a test because I was still on my French contract, and I went there I went there to literally like develop the business there. So I started with the first project, and after a few months, I was like, I chose to stay. So my husband resigned, he joined me, and then we really settled. But yeah, I think we weren't, I mean, we were young, we are still young, but I mean, we were very young, not scared of anything. We knew that we could find a job somewhere. So we just wanted to go for the experience.
Yes, it was really about let's go for an adventure together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think we wanted to leave Paris as well. I mean, so it's important as well in the decision process. It was not only like we want to go abroad just because the adventure, obviously that was one part, but as well we really wanted to leave Paris at one point. I didn't feel safe there. So that was one of the decision as well. And for me, London was about the same long commutes, the same weather. You see like the things that we didn't like much in Paris. We thought we would find the same in London.
Yeah, so the lifestyle, you wanted to change lifestyle as well.
Yeah, exactly. The lifestyle as well. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Not knowing really what we would get in Dubai, but yeah, the lifestyle is actually really nice.
Yes. So when you moved to Dubai, so the first months you were working already. So, and then
Yeah.
your partner came a bit later.
Yeah.
So between what you have imagined together about Dubai, because there's many stereotypes for every country, but what was the reality check when you land?
Um, yeah, that's a good question because I think what we had imagined was that so for me it was quite easy because I was coming with a job. So this was sorted. Even if we had challenges, I mean, I faced a lot of challenges as well in this because I was staying in the same company, but in a completely different cultural environment. So that was a challenge I expected because I was going abroad, but still it was the same company, but a very different mindset within the company. So that was one thing. The second thing was more actually from my husband. So he used to do financial auditing. And in France, when you do this, usually it's like, okay, it opened a lot of doors in finance. So he had a good CV from a French perspective. So we expected to find quite easily in Dubai. And the thing is that this type of experience in Dubai is not well recognized. I mean, not the same as in France. So his CV lost a lot of value. And I think that was quite a big surprise because we imagined, and everyone was saying that, yeah, it's very dynamic. It's easy to find a job. The reality is a bit different. It's worse now, by the way, but the reality is that you need some network. And if the experience you have are not very valuable in the other country, then you will lose a bit of time. And yeah, you lose value on the market. So that was a bit of a challenge.
So it took longer than expected, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah.
how did you overcome these challenges? Because I imagine it was not easy, that period was not easy to leave. So how did
Mm-mm.
you overcome this challenge?
I remember we put ourselves a deadline where we're like, okay, it was probably 6 months or something. We're like, okay, if we see there is nothing serious, we will have to think about probably moving back. Like there was no option of staying in the country for years with him not working, and it would have been the same for me, I think. So actually, it took a lot of patience, a lot of networking, a lot of a lot of patience because so the market is what it is, but as well in Dubai, the processes are very, very slow. So the thing is, when he arrived in Dubai, he was already very advanced in some processes. So we were very optimistic, but things are slow. Then it takes a lot of time. You're ghosted, and then people come back and they need you tomorrow. So it's a lot of ups and downs. So we took patience and just patience. And as well, I think we started quite early realizing that we were going to be quite happy in this country. So like when it comes to the quality of life, we we wanted to stay. So we were ready to put as much efforts as required because it was not only about the jobs, it's like we were happy there. So yeah, passions. I
Yeah.
think that was the key. Actually, something that is important, I'm thinking now is accepting as well to probably start with a job that is not exactly what you dreamed of, but that can open doors afterwards, you know. So that was his case actually. He's like, so he went for a job and then he found another job that was really great, but so you have a foot on the market.
Thank you for
Mm.
sharing the strategy because sometimes you can't have it all at once and
Yeah.
move, and it takes time to build it up. and you have to also give yourself time to build it up. And
Yeah.
as you said, you take a first job, it actually allow you to know better the market, network, and then you can pivot later on, like 1 or 2 years, you stay in that job, and that allows you to make your first steps. And I think it's a very, very good strategy. On the flip side, what
Yeah.
were some pleasant surprise? You were sharing, like you say, you wanted to stay. So I believe you had some pleasant surprise.
Yeah. So yeah, as I said, we didn't really know what to expect in terms of life. And we were really seeing Dubai as still a big city, which I love. I mean, I love really living in a city. But the thing is, we started really like, so there are two things. I think we realized we arrived at the right moment when it comes to the seasons. So I arrived in October. So the weather is really nice in Dubai. And we realized that everyone was like, it's going to be 50 degrees, super hot. It's going to be difficult to live there. The truth is, you spend 8 months of the year outside. We do a lot of sports. You live in big spaces. It's sunny all the time. So that was the very good surprise. It's like at the beginning, we were like, okay, let's go for maybe 3 years and we will see the adventure. But at the end of the day, we're like, okay, I mean, we ended up building a family and because we liked the place. So that was a very good surprise. And the other one, I think, was that it was actually very easy to make friends. And I think it can be a challenge in some countries. So I don't know if it's specific to Dubai, but we got in touch before coming with a lot of friends living in Dubai. The reason was I was the first expat of my company, so they didn't know exactly what they could offer me, etc. So I had to contact like people I didn't know just to know, okay, what salary should I expect, how much does it cost to actually live there, etc., etc. So I met many people online that were contact of contact, and when I arrived, we were welcomed like by so many people. People are used to see new people coming; they're happy to meet people. So we actually made friends super easily. And it's still the case now. I can see it when new people arrive. People are very open. It's way easier than when you stay in your own country. And that was an amazing that is still actually an amazing thing. Like we have a second family here, and we built it quite quickly.
So I guess your second family is made of different cultures.
Yeah.
And so how do you experience these cultural differences in your daily life? There is a specific cultural aspect that stands out and you would like to share with us?
Yeah, I'm gonna be so obviously in our personal life we have friends for many cultures, but many cultures close to us as well. Because so Dubai is like 90% of the people in Dubai, they're expats. So you have it's a very special expatriation because you don't go into one culture. I'm not saying there is no culture, but you live with so many different cultures that it's not like I go to China, so I need to get used to Chinese. I go to Japan, so I need to be used to Japan, etc., etc. It's like I go to the UAE, so I'm gonna be surrounded by like Lebanese, Indians, Pakistanis, people from Europe, Asians, Americans. So it's very diverse. And it's cool because you meet many people who look like you and want to do the same thing as you in the weekends, etc. But it's very challenging, to be honest, at work. And that was something that, I mean, I still find it challenging sometimes here. Is like you don't have to adapt to one culture, you have to adapt to many, many, many people. And it's still a challenge sometimes. And I realize it's actually easier to work with people who've been, I mean, for me, easier to work with French people. Usually we think the same, so it's easier. And it's a bigger challenge to work with different cultures, especially when out of like 10 colleagues, you have 8 nationalities. So you have to adapt to every people. So that is something that is, yeah, that's a bit of a challenge here. And at the same time, it's very enriching. But I mean, if I'm honest, it's sometimes more challenging.
You say that is more challenging, and what do you
Yeah.
change? Like
Mm.
concretely, like just I just would like here to be a little bit more concrete and tangible.
Mm.
For example, how do you adapt at work, what do you specifically do here in this case in order to adapt and get the best of this multicultural, and even though it's not easy?
So first of all, on my personal life, I consider that here in the UAE, I'm not at home. So it's not my rules. And I need to follow the rules. If I don't want to follow the rules, if I'm unhappy with the way they want me to behave, then I can leave the country. So I think this is very important in all the countries in the world. Is like, I'm not here to, um, I'm not superior to the others. I don't know better than the others. So for example, it's Ramadan right now, and it's amazing to live Ramadan in an Arabic country because it's a good way to be closer to the people around you, to understand their culture, their religion, etc. So again, on this, of course, you adapt. Of course, you don't eat in front of the others. Of course, you do this type of thing. It looks simple, but there are laws here locally that are so different than France. There are so many things you cannot do, but it's the deal. It's like
Like
they
what,
provide
for
an
example?
amazing life, but it's very strict on alcohol. It's very strict on a couple of things like this. Like it's just like there are rules, and if you don't respect the rules, you go to jail. Also, I mean, maybe I exaggerate a bit, but not that much. It's just this is how it is here. You don't steal. Well, I will not steal in France, but I mean, here you can leave your mobile phone on the table. No one will take it. You come an hour later, it's there. And this is because if someone steals it, he has like big issues. So this is a big example, but it's just to show like if I don't follow the rules, I can just leave. So the first thing is here, I'm happy to adapt, obviously, because it's not my home, it's not my rules. On the professional side, the challenge is more on the side. And for me, it's more that um, I discovered years after years how to behave with different cultures. So, for example, you don't, I don't know, let's say to give an example with in France, when you start a meeting, let's say in consulting, I was pitching a project to a client. If there is a European in the room, I can start being a bit informal and create the sort of informal relationship. I know it will help. If I do that with Indians, it may not help because they have different ways to create relationship. As well as a woman, I know there are things that I am not going to do with someone local. So these are things that you learn and that I'm happy to learn, obviously, that are amazing. It's just sometimes it can, you lose a bit of time or, it's more, things are more difficult because it's like different processes.
Yeah.
So this was it's less of a challenge because now I adapted, but still it means sometimes you just want to pick up your phone and call this guy and ask something and you can't because of some cultural differences.
Yeah. You say that it takes more time, it can be annoying, but actually, I think by doing that, you are earning time because you have a better
Yeah, that's true.
communication. At
Yeah,
the end of the day, yes, it requires more effort, more attention, more
yeah.
listening, um, more thinking also.
Mm,
But I
mm.
think if you take the people from right from the beginning, from the good communication perspective, I think it really builds up and creates a big trust
Yeah,
factor that you need, not always to sell something or to pitch, but just to work with someone and build this trust
yeah,
factor.
of course. Of course.
So you
Of course,
became,
I was in a French, yeah, because I was in a French company and we were out of 130 employees, we were two French. So, like it means it's a complete different culture at the end, what we've built here. But there was one thing, people find it very difficult to find a job here in Dubai because most of the time the companies ask for local experience, which is not easy because then if you don't have local experience, how do you get local experience? And at the beginning, I was like, why is focusing that much on this? But I understand it's because it takes time to learn how to behave with different cultures. And there are too many different cultures. So yeah, it takes a lot of time. But you are right. On the short term, it can be frustrating, but obviously on long term, I mean, it's very enriching.
because it's important to
Mm.
be aware of that, and to see that you really have to develop these soft skills and the
Yeah,
cultural
yeah.
agility to navigate. So, looking back on your experience, is there anything that you would have done differently?
I don't think so. To be honest, I'm not very nostalgic as a person, so I don't look back that much. But I went through so many challenges, especially professional challenges in Dubai. But because it's not an easy market to work in, but still, I think it was the best decision to come here. And I think even, I mean, I'm not saying that to be, it looks a bit fluffy, but like, I won't do anything differently because I still think that the reason why I'm the person I am today is because I went through all of this. So no, I really think we did it the way it was supposed to be done.
So it's been 7 years you're in Dubai.
Yeah.
And so you started with the French company, a project.
Yeah.
And what are you doing today?
Yeah, so I stayed with them for 6 years here, and the company developed very well. And I left last summer, so 7 months ago, probably, some 6 or 7 months ago. And now I'm in the process of building my own company. So as you know, I launched a podcast talking about AI in corporates, and I'm gonna launch another. I mean, I'm working on a new on an entrepreneurship project. So that's really cool. It's a big life change, and I chose to do it still here in Dubai because I consider that Dubai is really my home. Plus, I think there are a lot of opportunities here. So it's a try.
It's a new life,
new start.
a new start.
It is a new life. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because you just shared that experience made me who I am today. So,
Yeah.
And that probably allow you to become this
Exactly.
an entrepreneur with your own project. You know the market, you know the opportunities, you know how it works. So now you feel confident about launching your podcast, which is actually really good, by the way.
Thanks.
And so it's a new beginning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How what did you learn about yourself on this journey?
Yeah, that's a difficult question because I think since I came, a lot of things happened. So obviously, I don't know what I learned because I'm an expat or because I became a mom or because I became an entrepreneur. I don't know, but I would say obviously a lot of adaptability, which I think is required anyway to start in a new country, and that I developed probably during my childhood thanks to this. But I think as well something is that so in the UAE and in a lot of countries that are not France, we have zero work security, and it puts us at risk. So I think I developed something that I didn't have before, is basically being very proactive in my project and trying always to do better and do more, which is something that I don't think I was able to build in France because I knew that, like, let's say if I lose my job or if I have an issue, we are backed up. We have security in France. And I think we are, or I'll talk for myself, but I think it's really inside us. We know there will be a backup. And in Dubai, there is no backup. And in Dubai, if you don't have a job, you don't have a visa. If you don't have money, you cannot leave. It's an expensive city. So you always have to make sure that you find, like a way. And we are not alone. Like it's a very, very attractive country now. Many people are coming in. It's transforming. So this is really something I developed over the years, or trying to really like think about how do I want to build my way, because I have no choice and things can switch very easily here. A company can just like fire people from a day to another. It can be quite unstable. So I needed to really develop this sort of adaptability, thinking forward, and not being scared of insecurity, which is big for me. So yeah, all of this I've learned thanks to this experience, and I'm still learning.
Yeah, very interesting because it became a driver for growth instead of like being scaring. So that's very interesting to transform the mindset is really transforming. It became really a driver for growth, for more, for better. And also you say that it's not at the cost of your lifestyle and a good balance between your personal life and your professional life. So I think it's really interesting.
I'm trying.
Yeah, we always try.
Yeah, we always try.
But it's not like black or white. You still
No.
manageable.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's always remembering as well that we made the choice to come here, and we can always make the choice to move. I mean, we are very lucky. We are on the right side of the world. I mean, if we really want to move to another country, we can. We have a good passport, which is something that I really realized here. So it's easy for us to go in countries like we are welcomed in many countries. We are so lucky to be French, to be honest. You realize it. We always like criticize, but you realize it when you go abroad compared to other nationalities. So I know this as well, and I know that it's precious.
Thank you for this perspective. It's that having the freedom of going anywhere. It's something
Yeah.
we don't.
Yeah, and at the same time, when I was questioning a lot my job before and I wanted to leave the job and I didn't know exactly what to do, a lot of people were like, but if it goes wrong, you go back to France. And I was like, but no one is waiting for me in France. I will have no job in France. I mean, for me, it's going to another country again. It's just like, I think we put ourselves in a situation where we are actually at risk. No one waits for us anywhere. We have no security. No one is going to pay me if I don't have a job, etc., etc. So now I need to I need to find a way, to play with this.
Okay. How does those learning experience influence your decision today as a mother, an entrepreneur?
I think anyway, it's changing me. So it obviously impacts my children and my life. But yeah, it influences a lot my personal life and I think the life of my children as well. Because for example, there are questions that I will never ask myself in France. It's like, in what type of education system do I want to put my kids, for example? So there are a lot of things that I learned from people around me that were not raised in a French system. And I found it amazing. So I chose to put my children in like the British system, for example. And this is because I realized that there are values and things they learn that I did not learn when I was a child. So that is a choice that I can make because I'm here and because I saw around me all these people that were so adaptable, etc., etc. So that's one of the examples. Obviously, it impacts our family because, well, first of all, we are not in our country, etc. But it pushes us as well to ask ourselves the question of how do we make sure that we still feel French? What is the place of France in our family? And as well, yeah, it's we raise our children differently, and because we are not in the same setup as if we were in France. So all of this will impact them, impacts us in how we are parents, impacts me, of course, in how I am an entrepreneur, because I think it pushes us as well to do always better and to ask ourselves questions that we may not ask in a different environment.
Yeah, you're more strategic. You become
At least like that, I try to. I don't know if it's really strategic, but at least I ask myself questions. So there are a lot of things that are not like a no-brainer. So you need to ask yourself, okay, like for the school, it's such a big example. In Dubai, you can put your kids in American, local, British, IB, French, German, and you're like, oh wow, like so you have to ask yourself the question, what do I want to give him? What do I like abroad that I want my child to have? And
so I'm asking all this question to everyone. So imagine your best friend is moving to Dubai next month. What are your top 3 pieces of advice?
So 3 pieces of advice. I think the first one would be connect with people before coming, connect with people who live there. And yeah, network, just to understand if it fits with your life. Like I'm giving my point of view, but everyone will have different life. And I think it's important to understand from people there, is it something I really want to do? Like, and Dubai doesn't have a very good image in Europe on a lot of aspects. So it may not fit at all with what is important for you. So I think it's important to talk to people before. And honestly, it's easy. Like people are always happy to meet and to share their experience. So that's the first piece of advice. The second will be to ensure that your profile fits on the market, the job market, because we forget it, but Dubai is a very small country. It's like less than 4 million inhabitants. So there are not millions of jobs. And there are jobs that do not exist here. So that is like a very, very important thing. It's like not all the CVs, not all the profiles are welcome here because there are not no opportunities for, like, I'll tell you very basic examples. I know midwives, so nothing to do with business, but the midwives in France, they have 5 years of studies. They have a very different role than the midwives here in Dubai that are they do like 1 year of studies, so they are not paid well, etc. So for a midwife, it's very difficult to find a job in a hospital here. There are even tech roles that do not exist here. So this is really a question that people need to ask themselves, is like, is my profile, I mean, do I have a future there? And I think it's key. And what else? Yeah, it's better to come with a job. I know it's not a good, but it's an expensive place, and it costs a lot to settle to start with. It's better to come with a job, even if it's not easy to find, but it's better to come with something.
Okay. So, but can you come with a tourist visa and then find a job?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, very, very easy.
Okay.
Yeah. So otherwise, there are people coming, but the thing is, it can take, especially these days, it can take time to find a job. So better you come with already like contacts, or if not a job, at least some opportunities, because it can take a lot of time. And I met people who came and they were paying for rent, and at the end of the day they leave and they lost all their money and they didn't find anything. So it's not that easy. That is the only thing. You need to be informed.
Because, you say that also it's a slow process.
It's very slow. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For
My pleasure.
Journey and all this insight about Dubai. To our listeners, we hope you find this conversation inspiring and with a lot of value, and follow us on our LinkedIn page. All the links are in the description below. See you soon for the next episode.